Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Jaya Silsanwal, Assistant Professor of English, and today I will teach you how to identify the theories employed or assumed in the text and interpretation of the text. So now let's start the PPT. Now, what is context? Context refers to information that helps readers accurately interpret the meaning of a text. It can take many forms, including background information or details about the circumstances, environment, or time frame in which a work takes place. Okay, so basically, context is the background, environment, setting, framework, or surroundings of events or occurrences, and it is very necessary for writing to provide information, new concepts, and words to develop thoughts. Now let's move forward. Whenever writers use a quote or a fact from some source, it becomes necessary to provide their readers some information about the source to give context to its use. So, in order to offer context to the usage of a statement or fact from a source, authors must always tell their readers something about the source. This piece of information is called context. Context illuminates the meaning, relevance of the text, and maybe something cultural, historical, social, or political. So, basically, context is the name given to this piece of knowledge. Context sheds light on the text significance and meaning, as well as any cultural, historical, social, or political elements. Okay, understood everyone? Now let's move forward. Difference between content and context. So content is a written text, while context is a place or situation. Context refers to a setting or circumstance, whereas content is a written work. Despite the fact that a text is not a context, its content may provide context. For example, if a statement appears in a particular text, it is both the statement's context and substance in and of itself. That is why it would be very clear what occurs after and before that particular sentence. Thus, it provides the context, which includes the setting, circumstance, or even atmosphere. Okay, understood everyone? This is the difference between content and context. So now let's move forward. Now, rhetorical context, purpose, author, and audience. Yes, although the context in literature is something different, it is different in rhetoric too. This means although the context is distinct in literature, it also differs in rhetoric. It simply refers to the setting in which a remark, a character, or an event occurs in literary literature. But in rhetoric, it's not simply the words that matter. It's also the writer's intent, the readership, and the audience. They comprise the rhetorical piece context. The reason is that rhetoric must be utilized for a certain purpose and by a specific person in order to be effective, else it loses its true meaning. Okay, so the reason is that rhetoric is specifically intended to be used for specific purpose and by a specific person, or it loses its real purpose as well as its effectiveness. Understood everyone? Now let's move forward to next line. Now, use of context in sentences. So these are some examples. For example, this story was written in the 19th century after the end of the Civil War. So context mentions when. Gandhiji studied law in South Africa before returning to India and starting the freedom movement. So context mentions where. Harry Potter was published in 1997 by Bloomsbury, United Kingdom. Here the context mentions when and where. Please focus. These are the examples. These are the uses of context in sentences. Ivan heard bonjour as soon as he landed at the airport and saw the tower stop on the way to the exit. The context mentions a setting and the character is abroad. The English Tommies with their weapons entered the buildings to secure the area. Here the context mentions the time period when soldiers were called Tommies. Understood everyone? So these are some examples of context. Now, again some examples from literature. Example 1. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Dickens began his novel A Tale of Two Cities in 1770 by describing the release of Dr. Manette from Bastille before taking the story to 1793 and early 1794. In this time span, the narrative covers a broad story in a larger view. This novel begins in 1757, while its final scene looks forward to the situation in post-revolutionary Paris. Second example, this story. This is not a second example. This story has a historical context when Dickens has organized about various events that occurred during the French Revolution. So he has drawn historical features from major events including the fall of Bastille, September massacres, Reign of Terror. So this backdrop is the story's context. Understood everyone? So this is the example of context in literature. Now, synonyms of context. Context does not have an equivalent. It has several synonyms that could replace it in different contexts. For example, conditions, factors, surroundings, state of affairs, environment, situation, background, mood, ambience, subject, text, theme or topic. So these are some synonyms of context. Now, reading what a text says. Now, reading what a text says is more notable for what it does not include than for what it does. So basically, when a text says, when read is more significant for what it leaves out than for what it includes. Reading what a text says involves basic comprehension or just following the discussion's line of thought. We put a lot of emphasis on comprehending each sentence in its entirety as well as following the notion from one sentence to the next and one paragraph to the next. The discussion's nature is not attempted to be evaluated and no thought is given to a larger purpose or intention. So reading what a text says requires rote memorization. Understood everyone? Yes. Now let's move forward. Restatement generally takes the form of a summary, paraphrase or precise. Restatements should avoid the same language as much as possible to avoid plagiarism and to show understanding. Reading what a text says is common under a variety of circumstances. This means the format of a restatement is typically that of a summary, paraphrase or precise. To minimize plagiarism and demonstrate understanding, restatements should try to avoid using the same words as much as feasible. It's common to read what a document says in a variety of situations. When there is an agreement on the facts of a situation and how they should be interpreted, when learning the definitions and concepts of a new field, when a text is believed to provide a thorough and objective analysis, or when the word of a particular author or source is regarded as reliable. Okay, understood everyone? Now, describing what a text says. Now, read an essay about AIDS and you think about AIDS. Okay, but you can also think about the essay. Does it discuss preventive strategies or medical treatments or both? Does it describe AIDS symptoms or other stats? Is the disease presented as contagious disease, a biblical scourge, or an individual experience? What evidence is relied on? Does it quote medical authorities or offer anecdotes from everyday people? Does it appeal to reason or emotions? So these are not questions about what a text says, but about what the text does. Focus on these lines. These are not the questions what a text says, it's about what the text is, what the text does. They are not about AIDS, but about the discussion of AIDS. Okay, try to understand from these sentences. Okay, so now let's move forward. This second level of reading is concerned not only with understanding individual remarks but also with recognizing the structure of a discussion. We examine what a text does to convey ideas. We might read this way to understand how an editorial justifies a particular conclusion or how a history text supports a particular intervention of events. So, at the previous level of reading, restatement, we demonstrated comprehension by reading the thought of a text. So, there are some questions. Here we are concerned with describing the discussion, like what topics are discussed, what examples and evidence are used, and what conclusions are reached. Understood, everyone? Now, let's move forward. This level of reading books at broad portions of the text to identify the structure of a discussion as a whole. So on completion, we can not only repeat what the text says, but can also describe what the text does. We can identify how evidence is used and how the final points are reached. I hope this is very clear. Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jaya Sinsinwal, Course Coordinator for BBA English 105. So, basically, this is an introductory video for this course. English grammar is a core course that is offered in the first semester. It is a 4-credit course. The course covers the fundamentals of English grammar, including the parts of speech, sentence structure, punctuation, and usage. Through this course, students will learn how to use English grammar correctly in their writing and speaking. The course will be assessed through a variety of methods, including quizzes, essays, and participation. Students are expected to put in regular effort and participate actively in the course. So, here are some of the specific topics that will be covered in this course. Number 1, parts of speech. In this, we will cover nouns, verbs, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Second, sentence structure. In this, we will cover subjects, verbs, objects, complements, and modifiers. Next, in punctuation, we will cover commas, semicolons, colons, exclamation points, question marks, quotation marks, apostrophes, and hyphens. Usage, commonly confused words, phrases, grammar rules, and style conventions. So, by the end of the course, students will be able to identify and use the parts of speech correctly. It will also help to construct sentences with correct grammar and punctuation. Students will be also able to use English grammar in their writing and speaking, and they can also they will also learn to avoid common grammar mistakes. So, let's move to the next slide. Now, course objectives. The objective of this course is to develop capability of the student to write and speak in English correctly, being the backbone of education. Basically, the course objective of this subject is to introduce students to the basic concepts of grammar, such as parts of speech, sentence structure, and punctuation, to help students develop their ability to identify and correct grammatical errors in their own writing, to teach students how to use grammar effectively to communicate their ideas clearly and concisely, to help students develop a critical understanding of grammar so that they can analyze and evaluate the grammar of their own writing and the writing of others, to foster an appreciation for the importance of grammar in effective communication. It also identifies the 8 parts of speech, use nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections correctly. It also identifies the different types of sentences: simple sentences, compound, complex, and compound complex. Use proper punctuation in sentences. Write clear and concise sentences. Avoid common grammatical errors. Analyze the grammar of written text. Evaluate the effectiveness of grammar in communication. So these are some course objectives. Now, let's discuss the importance of studying grammar. Now, grammar is the foundation of language and it is very essential for effective communication, both written and spoken. A good understanding of grammar will help you to express your thoughts, your ideas clearly and concisely. It also helps to avoid making errors that can make you sound uneducated or unprofessional. It will also help to understand the structure of sentences and how they work together to form paragraphs and essays. It will also help to read and understand complex text. It will also help to write clear and effective mails, letters, and reports. It will also help the student to succeed in school, in college, and in their career. In addition to these general benefits, there are also some specific reasons why students should study grammar. For example, many courses require students to write essays and other types of formal documents. So, in order to do well in these courses, students need to have a strong understanding of grammar and punctuation. Additionally, many employers look for good grammar skills when hiring new employees. So, if you want to improve your chances of getting a good job after college, studying grammar is a great place to start. Now, some more benefits of studying grammar for students. Firstly, it improves writing skills. Good grammar is essential for clear and concise writing. When students learn the rules of grammar, they are better able to organize their thoughts and ideas in a way that is easy to understand. It increases academic success. Many universities, colleges require students to write essays and other types of formal documents. Good grammar skills can help students to succeed in these courses by making their writing more clear, concise, and error free. It also enhances job prospects. Employers often look for good grammar skills when hiring new employees. By studying grammar, students can improve their chances of getting a good job after college education. It also increases confidence. When students learn the rules of grammar, they feel more confident in their ability to communicate effectively. This can lead to increased confidence in other areas of their lives as well. Now let's move forward to next slide. Now COs. Understand the types and transactions of sentences, interpreting general grammatical usage of nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives and conjunctions. Understand the usage of all types of tenses, summarizing and journaling comprehension passage, articulating paragraph writing, applications and letter writing. So by this course you will learn all these things. So what will be the course outcomes? It identify and understand the basic grammatical structures of the English language. This includes understanding the parts of speech, noun phrases, verb phrases, clauses, and sentences. It also helps to apply grammatical rules correctly in writing and speaking. This includes being able to use the correct verb tenses, pronouns, and adjectival forms. It identify and correct common grammatical errors. This includes errors such as subject, verb agreement, noun antecedent agreement, and misplaced modifiers. It also helps to write and speak clearly and concisely. This includes using grammar to organize your thoughts and ideas in a way that is easy to understand. It will also help to read and understand complex text. This includes being able to identify the grammatical structures of the text and how they contribute to the meaning of the text. It also helps to use grammar to achieve specific effects. This includes using grammar to create emphasis, suspense, or humor. So, by the end of the course, students will be able to identify the 8 parts of speech, use the correct verb tenses in their writing, avoid common grammatical errors such as subject verb agreement, pronoun antecedent agreement. Student will be able to write clearly and concise sentences, read and understand complex text, and use grammar to achieve specific effects such as creating emphasis or suspense. Now, LMS contents. So, the LMS has 4 quadrants, each of which contains different types of learning resources. So, let's discuss quadrant 1, that is e-tutorial. This quadrant includes introductory videos of the course as well as content videos and audios on each unit of the syllabus. This is very useful for students who want to get a general overview of the course or who need help understanding a particular concept. Quadrant second stands for e-content. This quadrant contains self-instructional material. ebooks, web resources, research papers, and journals. This is very useful for students who want to learn more about a particular topic or who need additional resources to supplement their studies. Now, quadrant third stands for e-communication. Now, this quadrant is a discussion forum for raising doubts and clarifying them on a near real-time basis. Different topics on emerging issues will be uploaded from time to time, and students will participate in the discussions. Now, last is quadrant 4, which stands for e-assessment. Now, this quadrant relates to assessment which contains multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and long answer questions. So, all of these have been uploaded unit wise at the LMS. Now, learning process. The pedagogical processes used in this course are live classes, assignments, quizzes, frequently asked questions, and clarifications on general misconceptions. These processes will help students to learn the course material effectively and be able to apply it in their future careers. In addition to the pedagogical processes, the course also offers additional activities such as master classes, lectures by industry experts and professionals, and case studies. So, the course offers additional activities such as master classes, lectures by industry experts and professionals, and case studies. Okay, these activities will help students to gain a very deeper understanding of the course material and apply it to real world situations. So, some of the basic benefits of pedagogical processes and additional activities are like live classes. Live classes allow students to interact with the instructor and other students in real time. This can help students to clarify their doubts and get personalized feedback. Student can clarify their doubts and get personalized feedback. Second, assignments. Assignments give students the opportunity to apply the course material to their own work. This can help them learn the material more deeply and develop their critical thinking skills. So, assignments will help the students to apply the course material to their own work. Next, quizzes. Quizzes help students assess their understanding of the course material. This can help them identify various areas where they need more help. FAQ. FAQ means frequently asked questions and clarifications on general misconceptions. Help students clear up any confusion they may have about the course material. Next, master classes. Master classes are led by experts in the field. This can help students learn from the best in the industry. Next, lectures by industry experts and professionals. Lectures by industry experts and professionals can help students gain insights into the real world applications of the course material. Next we have case studies. Case studies present students with real world scenarios. This can help them to develop their problem solving skills and learn how to apply the course material to real world situations. So, overall, the pedagogical processes and additional activities in this course like live classes, assignments, quizzes, FAQs, master classes, lectures by industry experts and professionals, and case study are all designed in this course to help students learn the course material effectively and be able to apply it in their future careers. Now, next, reference books. So, for this course, these books are recommended. Wren and Martin English Grammar book. So, thank you everyone.